Hey everybody, this is Frank with Game 1 of the Grand Finals between Aureil and Snoxtar. Aureil is our Celestial player here down in the lower left, and Snoxtar is our Infernal player in the upper right with a Conclave second. Interesting. Here on Titan's Causeway version 2. Is this the one with, oh yeah! Look, you can see the shadow of the trees is like moving across the thing. So it's gonna be the day-night map, which could look kind of cool. I am a big fan of the new visual effects that are in patch 0.3. Technically, we're in 0.3.1, but 0.3.1 felt like more of a hotfix. Anyway, so yeah, here's Snoxtar. Got his expansion coming up online. Health camp's already gotten taken, and here's a bunch of fiends and a hexen doing their little Scooby-Doo mischief stuff. Checking for a third array, but I think it's way too early for that. And Snoxtar knows that, like, all right, Aureil's not going to put like an unprotected array just out in the middle of nowhere. This Hexen's in a bit of trouble though. Yeah, he needs to get out of there ASAP. There we go. Dodges a couple more shots. Beautiful. Health camp goes down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Speaking of lemon squeezy, the best Girl Scout cookies are lemon ups, and you can't tell me otherwise. For those of you that don't live in the United States, there's something called the Girl Scouts, and it's like an after school kind of thing where girls can go and they get different badges for learning different kinds of skills, and it's kind of like a actually, I don't know how to describe it, because like Boy Scouts teaches you camping stuff and survival stuff and wilderness stuff, and Girl Scouts does some of that too, but one of the ways that they do fundraisers every year is they sell Girl Scout cookies, and that's something that every American knows about, is eating Girl Scout cookies, because some of them are really good. And lemon ups are the best flavor, and that's all there is to it. That's all you guys need to know. For those of you that live in Europe or Asia or anywhere that's not the United States, just get lemon ups and forget that the other flavors exist, because they are inferior in every way. Speaking of being inferior in every way, these fiends are actually moving along pretty quickly. Shouldn't have said that, but they are a little bit squishier than they were. Oh man, how many patches ago? I don't remember. But it's interesting that they got a bit of a health nerf, but they do a little bit more damage. And the power bank got quite a health nerf, and but it does more. It provides more power. So I'll be curious to see how the meta shifts, if there's going to be more run bys from fiends, even though they can't hit workers. Maybe run bys are still viable against Celestials if you do run bys on their power banks, because putting a Celestial into like yellow or red power is absolutely brutal. All right, more fiends just doing their little fiendy things on their elbow knees. Oh, edge scroll, no thank you. All right, so they do spot the mass Argents here, and the Argents are going to hang on to the Vision Camp, which is pretty wise actually. I wonder. Okay, no, I thought I saw like an internal structure going up at the, I don't know what you call it, 10 o'clock. Top left corner. Ooh, and a Sovereign's Watch goes down to help protect the Argents and to help keep the Infernals off of this Vision Camp. Effigy is trying to Whoa! The effigy reflects off of the corn. What? That's cool. Look, you can barely make out the cat corn. Oh, God, I was not ready for that. Okay. That's cool though. I didn't realize that effigies would reflect off of like things in the environment. So he's trying to get the Ethereum camp here, but right in the face of all these Argents, not going to work out all that well. It doesn't have many fiends to be kind of at the front of the line to soak up the charged shots. Fiends soaking up charged shots is super nice, especially when they get overkilled and there's like 3 wasted charge shots, and then suddenly the Argents, just one less charge shot they get to use. But are the Argents going to have their fancy science words upgrade? I'll remember the name of this one day. Photocapacitors. There we go. It just finishes up. I call it the fancy science words upgrade because that photocapacitor sounds like something that someone that got a useful degree would say. For those of you that are wondering what I got my university degree in, mind your business. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Down goes the Luminite camp to a Magmadon, the Hammerhead Dinosaur, a bunch of Axemen, and the Grumpy Two-Headed Cleaver Boys. Hammerhead Dinosaur and the Cleaver Boys is my new band name, by the way. So if you ever hear that, make sure you buy an album. It'll be really, really good. I promise. Oh, I heard the rooster. I don't know if it actually comes from... I don't think it actually comes from a chicken. It'd be really funny if, like, the closer you were to a chicken, the more it would, Man, this morning sunlight looks really good, too. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. The morning sunlight, right after the rooster crows, is pretty good. It's like that morning golden hour kind of a thing. Yeah, this Hellborn can just, like, camp out here and slowly whittle away at that creation chamber. See, now I wonder, is this Hellborn going to get forgotten about? Oh no, it's just going to sit there and do nothing. Of course. Oh, and the Magmadon, yeah, the Magmadon's stomp is going to be on cooldown for a little bit. Oh, but there's not an effigy down. No, no, the Archangel's out. The Archangel's going to get a huge connection here, please. Please. No, they're not going to stomp down. They're too busy trying to take care of the Spriggans in the sky. It makes sense. They don't want to, oh yeah, and the Archangels have to stay inside of the purification just so they don't keep on getting procs of the Spriggan binding saliva. Oh man, I was waiting for juicy connections from those Archangels to just evaporate some of the gaunts, but didn't happen. It's fine. That was a smarter move. Just wipe out the Spriggans because that's going to be the counter to you. This, I don't think this Arc Fortress could be any bigger on my screen. Alright, now the Archangels need to overfly some power banks to recharge. But they're not going to. Alright, meanwhile, yeah, the Spriggans are just going to take out this, take out the array and leave. Going to turn 360 degrees and walk out the door. Alright, down goes the fourth for Snoxtar. Let's see here. Alright, Vision Camp finally go. Oh, no, this is level 2 camp. Never mind, he's got it before. And Snoxtar's happy to just sit back and chill for a little bit. He, collect the camps, make sure you've got those global buffs. Actually, the level 2 health buff is quite an improvement, and quite valuable for the Infernal Army that cannot natively heal core health. They just have to... Some can heal white health. Actually, they can all heal white health if they're on Shroud, but yeah, healing core health for an Infernal is not a simple task. Alright, another camp goes down. Alright, now are we going to see the two armies come together? Snoxtar's staying on the low ground. I think he's not going to see where his opponent's at. There we go, until he pressed that cliff and sees so many Argents ready to put a few volleys into his Spriggans there. The Kree rush forward, and a couple of them start to explode. I think he actually did manage to get a single Fiend there and damage a bunch of the other ones. But yeah, now, oh, and Aureil's throwing down a very far forward Ascension Matrix. This has to be for the surged AoE bonus that it has. Now, again, oh yeah, Wolf Howl for nighttime. Respect. I like it. Yeah, and so something else. The Ascension Matrix doesn't need to be finished building in order for it to get surged and provide that 20% damage bonus to units that are nearby. Here we go. Yeah. Structure is drawing additional power. Nearby friendly units gain increased damage. I do like that usage, and especially because it's such a valuable building. But I do wish there was some kind of indicator for both the both friend and enemy, that shows like the radius of where that damage bonus ends. Because let's see, this is Solamata, no bonus. This is Solamata, no bonus. And I'm surprised that he's not like that. Aureil's not microing his Argents all the way around to get better connection. Seems like the Gaunt's got the better concave there for a second. And they might be continuing forward here if they can maneuver around these trees. But the Archangel is going to smash down into the back line. Hellborn are in such big trouble. Now, Hellborn used to be quite a juicy target. They used to be quite valuable when they did a lot more damage. But these days, they're great for deleting structures, and that's about it. And imparting the dot as well. But I don't believe, yeah, these Hellborn don't have Molten Touch researched yet. But it doesn't matter. This is... A lot of Snoxtar's army is mostly evaporated now. Oh, but what's this? We've got a bunch of Spriggans in the back line here. Oh no, they're gonna take out the... If they take out the Arc Fortress, that means that no more Archangels. Whoa! Where are they going? Oh, are they just gonna go home to defend? Oh no! I think he's trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. I think if he'd reset the tech level there, I think that would have been a lot more, I don't know, impactful than flying all the way home to do Spriggan damage. Well, no, the Spriggan's doing a lot of damage to the Argents is pretty good. They're just going to get cleaned up so quickly from the air melee attacks of the Archangels that I don't know if it's going to work. Snoxtar's doing a good job keeping his supply count up, and his holy Animus, he's got Animus. Now he could spend that on Dragon, but I think it would be better spent on a Hellspawn Resurgence just to get more charges in his. Alright, there's one Archangel down, another Archangel goes down. Yeah, the Spriggans are actually doing it. The Spriggans are doing it. Yeah, these Argents are in full retreat from the Spriggans, and now it's just a bunch of Kree that are coming forward, trying to take out the Gaunts as well. But the Gaunts and Kree kind of being counters to one another is always interesting. Oh, attempting to split, but the countdown, the upgrade for those Kree, letting them move around a little bit before they detonate. Being able to do a fair bit of damage to these Gaunts. Woo! That was action-packed. Gotta catch my breath. Here's the dragon. Big Daddy Dragon. Reporting for duty. Infested a prism, I think, and that's about it. 2 prisms, excuse me. And now, okay, Sovereign's Fury is down now. Oh, and beautiful connections from the Shadow Flyers. Sovereign's Fury is going to keep on attacking these Spriggans and maybe some of the ground units, but it doesn't matter because whatever it was on gets destroyed. The array gets destroyed. The Argents are about to get destroyed. Everything's about to get destroyed. Ooh, I like the Blast Node though. The Blast Node getting juicy has the potential, excuse me, to get juicy connections on Gaunts. But with this Air Force, very cool looking flying formation, by the way. This Infernal Air Force should be able to clean up any blast nodes pretty quickly. Yeah, this is an interesting point in the game for Snoxtar. Snoxtar's pulling way ahead in supply, and I think it's the longer the game goes, the worse it's going to get for Aureil. Yeah, there goes another array. That was a whole bunch of mining lost, and really losing one array is a big deal. I would almost say that the losing an array is more like losing a command structure than losing an arc ship is, because arc ships are good for healing and for like upgrading tech and stuff, but once you lose that array, there's no Luminite mining happening off that Luminite rock. It just ends, which is pretty dangerous if you're a Celestial player. You want to guard those quite carefully. Looks like Snoxtar wants to come back, farm all his camps again, and then maybe he'll step back into the step back out onto the map to finish off Aureil. But what's Aureil's plan out of all this? Is it just going to be more? Yeah, it's more Archangels. Yeah, level 3. The level 3 camps are nothing to sneeze at. Look at that. Even the Archangels are struggling to take him down. That was not a fast camp at all, and it's only going to be even stronger next time they respawn. But that's where Evolution Catalyst comes in. You pay 0 in army HP to take a camp, and you get all the benefits, and you get to capture it at your leisure. Oh, it's a lot of Spriggans, and the dragon's out. Is he going to use? There's the plague breath. He uses the whatever that other ability is, where he just vacuums up all the plague. And there's the GG from Aureil. There's just so much Infernal on the map right now. GG's, guys. Snoxtar goes up 1-0. On to game 2. What's up, guys? It's Frank here with the Grand Finals of the Aureil Stormgate Tournament Invitational number 4 between the two Polish players, Aureil, a Polish player living in Viking territory, and he's our Blue Celestial player, and hailing, and Snoxtar, our other Polish player, hailing from the bottom left corner of the map, is our Red Infernal player. And again, I apologize. This is all in this like low violence mode is not something that I chose. This is something that Korea has imposed upon me. If I could, if the blood could still be red and all the, everything could still be, instead of little tombstones, the skeletons were still there. I'd love to do that, but yeah, kind of out of my hands. But it's fine. It's fine. Now, I was saying earlier that I use these replays, and I've started laddering a lot more. I used to be really afraid of laddering, but as some of my viewers can tell you, I've shaken off the fear of being bad in front of other people. So I am very happily inexperienced and unskilled in front of my viewership. So that's really like changed how I look at a lot of these replays, and noticing that Snoxtar went for a farm first, right in front of the speed camp. I like it, and I've seen it done before, but I only know like 1 or 2 openers for Infernal, and that isn't one of them. So it's like, once you start looking at replays, and once you're not scared to be bad in front of other people, or scared to be bad like even on the ladder, I think it just really shifts like how you look at the game. And it's fun. I've been having more fun ever since I've learned to like not lose my mind every time I lose. Like once you stop being salty at a loss, I think that's when your like journey to improvement happens. Like you just focus on getting better, and then the victories come from that. Oh man, Aureil going with a Seraphim opener. I don't think their little wings used to be purple, did they? That might be new as of 0.3, but I can't be sure. If only that guy that runs the archives knew for sure, then we would know. But this Air Celestial opener is relatively new for me anyway. We can almost be certain that we're going to be seeing a okay, no, it's another Seraphim. We're only on tier 2 at the moment, but Snoxtar has just gone, he's sweeping through all the easy camps anyway. And just making sure that he's getting all that extra eco from the bounties, killing off all these camps. Oh, but Seraphim do find a couple of these. Oh no, that's a lot of Seraphim to be trying to take on with these with a couple of Gaunts and a Hexen. Hexen falls down, so that means that the infest potential is maybe it's not limited. Maybe he already does have plague axes. Yeah, he does. Okay, I take it all back. Alright, so what does Snoxtar do from here, though? He just saw a whole bunch of Seraphim, and he saw just how dangerous they can be, too. Seraphim, I was always under the impression that, hey, they're a great anti-creeping tool, but functionally they're just the scout. They're like the Vanguard scout, but it flies, and it takes like 75% reduced damage from camps. So really, I didn't see it having much combat potential. But if there's not much anti-air, they're actually kind of scary. 180 health isn't all that much, but doing 14 damage, no bonus, is it's kind of nice. And they're not that big of a unit either, so they can they'll happily like clump up. Oh, and I'm missing the entire massacre over here of the worker line over at the Greater Shrine for Snoxtar, and that's, look at all those little tombstones. So many imps going down. Yeah, and there's the GG from Snoxtar. He just lost too much too early. Alright, that ties up the series 1-1, going on into game 3. Alright guys, here we are, game 3 between Aureil and Snoxtar, tied up going into Ruination. Aureil had a cheeky little, wait, was that a, Oh, I love that. Look at this. Look at this corner of the Ark ship. It actually reflects the moonlight from Ruination. Look at that. That's so cool. What? That's pretty cool. New visual effects that I notice every time I cast another replay of this game. This is the more I get a chance to cast games, the more I get to admire just how beautiful of a game this really is. Anyway, yeah, looks like Snoxtar going for the easy peasy, breezy, beautiful, clever girl speed camp over here. With a couple of gaunts and a brute, which is pretty standard fare. Nothing really mind-shattering happening here. Oh, it doesn't get that last infestation. Womp womp. But you can still use that skull to scout or to snipe someone else's camp. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness, right in the middle of a cast. Grimmy, thank you so much for the raid, brother. We're in game 3 right now of the Grandfinals of the Aureil Stormgate Tournament Invitational on Ruination, and we just noticed something really cool about the Ark ship. If you guys want to check out what that cool little visual effect that I found, this will be up on YouTube probably, I don't know, in about 12-ish hours, less, 10 hours. But anyway, very fun to man, I forgot to turn off the overlay that does all the effects for thanking people. But it doesn't matter. I appreciate you guys being here all the same. So yeah, let's see here. Another speed camp going to fall here to Snoxtar, and he's just continuing to reap the benefits from getting the bounties from these creep camps. But what is Aureil going to do about it? So he tipped his hand that he knows how to do a mass seraphim, like basically an air starter build with the Celestials, and it's I don't want to say it's oppressive, but it seemed like there was very little that Snoxtar could do about it, especially on a map as big as Isle of Dread. Trying to get your gaunts back home to defend all these seraphim that are taking out your workers was just, they just weren't moving across the map fast enough. So it's interesting to see that Snoxtar is still willing to be brave enough to be out on the map, even though there's the threat of seraphim going back to his bases and just wiping out worker lines. But he's still out here, still getting all the resources, getting vision camps, getting all the camps, honestly. Let's see what he's got going on for tech here. Plague Axis just finishes up as we click on the thing. The ritual chamber, excuse me. I'm a professional caster. I know what every building does and what every upgrade is named. It's completely fine. Trust me. I've gotten paid to do this. For sure. Okay. But now it's going to be the Fiend. Okay, yeah, this is a lot of... Man, I did not realize that this many Fiends and Brutes would be able to take down a creation chamber so quickly. That one gets canceled. Another one has to get remade. But yeah, I think there's just not enough here for is Aureil just his water balloons aren't doing enough damage to the Brute and the Fiends. But still, that's a Fiend, 2 Gaunts, and a Hexen. He needs to leave. Honestly, I wouldn't be sad if he used the Hexen's teleport to get out of there. It should be on cooldown by now. There it is. But yeah, once the Argents run out of energy, the water balloons they shoot at don't do a whole lot of anything, and then at that point the Argents are just sitting there, taking up space, literally taking up space, blocking space for the full energy Argents to come forward and start doing damage. Another vision camp falling over here to Snoxtar. So he's got most of the camps on the map. Hasn't gone for the Luminite camps yet, and I don't blame him. Right now his army is mostly really low health units that would probably get like 1 or 2 shot by the bruiser there. There we go, making sure that his Brute's at the front line, throws down an effigy to make sure that there's white health regeneration. Going to be moving right along here. But is he going to get intercepted by this little gang of Argents? We'll see. No, I guess not. Yeah, I think this is just Aureil checking to see if there's some kind of high ground presence that's going to be annoying for him. A couple of Fiends coming on over to check for the third of Aureil. He's going to see that it's not there. But yeah, this holding these Illuminite camps, I think, is really going to put Aureil on a timer. The amount of time that your opponent has to resources that doesn't put workers at risk is pretty good. Granted, Snoxtar is taking a bit of a thumping here, putting down these camps, but it's fine. So he's got both Illuminite camps. He's going for the Therium camp next. He's just going to be a rich boy. Even though his supply count is half that of Aureil's, that's a little alarming, to be honest with you. But just spending all of his time and money getting upgrades and keeping his resource count low. Very interesting to see that Snoxtar is floating just so much Therium. You typically see Infernals being Therium starved, but not in this case, I guess. So now what does he do? Okay. Oh no, the Archangels are out. Yeah, Archangels are they will just wood chipper their way through all those gaunts. We'll see. Okay, doesn't have the upgraded Meteor Smash. Or is it Meteor Strike? Meteor Strike. I knew that. I knew it was called Meteor Strike. But he's going to be doing all this AoE. He does activate Avatar on all of his Archangels. They're going to be doing fantastic AoE job. Every single one of these, all the Gaunts, all the Brutes, all the everything, really. They're going to take off once it runs out, and one of those Archangels is getting out of there by the skin of his teeth. Weavers, though, are fantastic counter these Archangels because of the percent damage. Archangel takes off and is going to do good damage to the Spriggans. Alright, are we going to see a Meteor Smash here? Yep. Takes out a Brute, and now all these Argents that are getting recharged by the Purify. I'm going to hang out there for a little bit. Oh, the Wraithstone is doing a fantastic job of slowing down this Archangel, so it buys time so the Spriggans can start chipping away at it. Another Archangel shows up to do melee damage to the Spriggans, which evaporate with the Bonk Stick. Yeah, and there's just so much AoE being brought down by Aureil here. The supply don't lie. We got to call our good co-caster friend Luca D Supply. We see that it's almost triple in favor of Aureil here, and yeah, Snoxtar's spending every last bit of Therium every last bit of Illuminite that he's got. Oh, almost gets that the other Archangel as well. I'm surprised he's not sending that Archangel off to go heal up at a health camp or at his Arc Fortress, but yeah, I think there's very little that Snoxtar can do at the moment to save this third. You just got to sit here and eat all these shots. Oh, that was a cute little move to keep the Spriggans on the high ground, so that even though they were firing at the, actually no, that wouldn't work still, right? Like even if they're on the high ground, if they're firing at the Argents, they'd still be able to see them. But still, it's a good way to chase them off. It's just send an Archangel back into the air to chase them away, hit him a couple times with the Bonk Stick, and yeah, this is Snoxtar's economy, basically just completely gone. A landed, and this is another one of those quirks from casting from South Korea, is that there are some creatures that their death animation is disabled, so their health bar will reach all the way down to 0, but the death animation will get turned off, and they'll just stand there for a couple seconds before they fade from existence. And then instead of a little skeleton on the ground, you'll just see a little green splat and a headstone. Because I guess skeletons are too violent for people that would play this game in PC cafes or PC bongs. So yeah, just a little quirk, something that I can't quite turn off. Is the low violence mode, but hopefully we'll see that in a future patch. Aureil decides to back off after taking out Snoxtar's third. He could definitely go for the kill. It feels like, anyway. But these, I mean, the Shadow Flyers are good, but they're not that good. Aureil's functionally got like he's got this whole armada of archangels that he can come by and just wreak havoc with. I'm surprised it's not happening. All right, here we go. This might be the final game-ending push from Aureil. We'll see. His archangels are getting pretty far ahead, and they're quite clumped up. I think a couple of really good connections from some shadow flyers would cause some major issues. There we go. Oh, did he get spotted though? He heard a scan go down. I'm not sure that I'd be able to keep my eyes off of this to. Okay. Oh yeah, completely circumvent the shadow flyers by prematurely landing all his archangels. And I think the Weavers are wisely not. But he keeps one. He keeps one archangel in the sky to eat all of the shadow flyer shots. All the archers have already come forward, and they've already burned through all of their mana. All right, another shrine goes down. Keeping Snoxtar on 3 shrines, really 2.5. I don't know if this one's finished building yet. It is finished, but there we go. Just finishes up. And yeah, now the archangels are melee attacking the Spriggans. And there's a GG from Snoxtar. I think there's no way he can come back from any of this. All right, another point on the board for Aureil. Let's go on to game 4. Alright guys, here we are in game number 4 between Aureil, our blue celestial player, and Snoxtar, our red infernal player. On Furious Resolve, we see a lateral spawn here, so they're going to be fighting over this health camp. And we see an expansion and a vault coming up after a conclave. You know, the more I think about it, and I talked about this earlier, the more I'm liking conclave first as the initial structure, just to have something to accompany the Hexen as it starts creeping around the map, just because it gets you access to the ritual chamber faster, and that means that you can get either miasma out quicker if you're worried about like a large ground force, or plague axes quicker, which is basically it's like a mandatory upgrade for infernals. Like you have to have infestation if you want to be doing. I mean, the dot is also nice in protracted engagements, but the fiend generation, like there's really nothing that generates fiends the same way that gaunts with plague axes do. So yeah, getting that sooner than later is, in my mind, basically mandatory. But then you use the Iron Vault. So it looks like Snoxtar is actually using the Iron Vault to get his Brute out. He's going to use that to go creeping around the map instead of the 2 gaunts. Yeah, there's a ritual chamber going up, about halfway done. And it looks like Snoxtar is going to build, or yeah, he's going to be taking the health camp first. So another thing that I tend to do that I don't know if it's, you know, if it's frowned upon this early in the game because it uses up some Luminite that would otherwise be units, but I always like putting down, like I always like putting down meat farms on camps, just because I hate losing a camp to like a single unit, like a scout that just runs by, or a fiend that just runs by, and it's like, oh, this is my camp now because there's nothing there to contest it. I know the meat farm doesn't have a whole lot of health, but it has like some sort of defense to it, and it has more functionality, I think, than a shroud stone. Like it actually provides a service that I need macro wise anyway. Bunch of fiends gonna find this. Oh, the low health power banks are pretty vulnerable this patch. Oh no, putting gaunts and the Hexen at the front line is a choice. Yeah, it looks like Aureil has to commit to finishing off this this camp before taking on the Argents here. It looks like the Argent count is only 2. Yeah, with this another Sovereign's Watch going down right in the middle of the Infernal Army. He's definitely going to be suffering a couple of casualties here. Yeah, both of those fiends are going down, and so does the Effigy. It's a bit of a spooky situation there for Aureil, but does manage to scare off his opponent. Yeah, and right when the Sovereign's Watch cooldown ends, that's when That's when Snoxtar decides to push forward. So as much as I appreciate all the new visual effects, like the mining Luminite visual effect looks really cool. Sovereign's Watch looks cool. The recharging, there's a lot of things that look really cool now. The replays for the observer mode or replay mode kind of lost the top bar energy icons, as well as it doesn't track celestial energy anymore. So I have no way of knowing how much top bar energy, how much power Aureil has right now. It's just stuck at 50, and I know he doesn't have 50 because he's on yellow power. So it's hard to know, but it looks like Snoxtar is actually doing quite a bit of damage, getting rid of the Therium Purifier, and coming back with his army from the north. But no, they're getting distracted by the prisms. Yeah, and I think Snoxtar might be doing it here. Yeah, taking out the power banks is super painful. Yeah, Aureil goes back onto yellow power, and now it's another creation chamber that's getting hit quite a bit. Aureil decides he doesn't want to have to pay or wait to build another array, so he's just going to float that one away. Yeah, and this isn't enough gaunts to take it down, so it doesn't get on the high ground, and it's going to be fine. It'll probably go back to the same Luminite mine, but not for a while anyway. Reaper's Rush is getting started here. The brute almost started the camp. Oh, the poor fiends, though. No. Alright, what's going on back at home? A couple of Twilight Spires. Yeah, I think Snoxtar's had enough of the Celestial Flying Unit shenanigans. He's like, I want Shadow Flyers. I want things that are going to hurt your flying units because, man, the Seraphim and the Archangels were just... Aureil's been putting on a clinic of like, hey, these are really strong, and the Infernals don't move fast enough to really do a whole lot about them if you manage to outmaneuver them. But Snoxtar does manage to grab that Luminite camp. But yeah, it's gonna be Brute, Gaunt, Fiend versus the Water Balloon boys. Oh no, yes, I don't know if I like that. Yeah, and the array is getting sent back again. Nightfall Infestation Purify 1-2 combo. Kind of the mandatory dance moves. Oh man, a single brute flank from the rear there. Now we see the Kree coming on forward. Are they going to be able to do any of their AoE attacks against the Gaunts? Okay, one of them does. Yeah, look at that. That was hits on 4 of the Gaunts at once. That was fantastic. And I think this Hexen is at... No way does the Hexen live. No way. I can't believe it. I can't believe my eyes. I thought that Hexen was gone for sure. Not that it matters. Plague Axis is done, and I don't think we see any mastery training being finished here for the Hexen. Yeah, we certainly don't see any more Hexen being built, but yeah, there's Spriggans, so we know we're already at... Yeah, there's the Greater Shrine. Yes, we're at Spriggan Tech. Something that we almost never see being researched, actually, is the salivary overflow, which would be interesting to see, just because I think that trying to snipe off the array. The array does go down, and there's really not much that can be done about it. These Spriggans are hard countering the. Oh, are they going to get this Animancer? Yeah, they will. You have to. Is he going to be able to snipe off another array, though? Another Sovereign's Watch goes down. Putting Aureil... Oh, no, Aureil's still on green power, but he's losing Spriggans quite quickly here. Another array goes down. That is a lot of lost eco. And it takes a long time for those arrays to come back. Oh, no. Is this going to completely wipe out Aureil from the map economically? I think it might. Yeah, and once this is gone, like, he can try to rebuild and come back from all this, but... Yeah, there's nothing here to defend the prisms. I think, yeah, Aureil's just super all in. He's got to attack, and he's got to attack right now. A bunch of Spriggans are attacking from on high. Nice use of Evolution Catalyst to take out this Therium camp and get all the benefits from it. But yeah, it looks like that's enough for Snoxtar to want to pull back. And he's done all the economic damage that he can, so I think the Spriggans have kind of outlived their usefulness there at the... Oh, I like that! Aureil realizing the Spriggans do have a slow with their auto attack, putting a Purify down on top of his army, so not only are his Argents shooting powered shots more often, but they're not going to be affected by the attack speed slow. Superstone goes down to the back line of Snoxtar. It looks like he's going to be cleaning up all of these Argents. There's the GG from Aureil. Snoxtar ties up the series 2-2 in this best of 7. On to the next game. Alright guys, it's Frank with game number 5 between Aureil and Snoxtar in the Grandfinals of the Aureil Stormgate Tournament Invitational number 4. And yeah, I'm your host Frank. So the Hexans are going to come forward and see an array building. Really not a whole lot that's newsworthy for an Infernal player if you're going to go scout your Celestial opponent on a map that's as small as Jagged Maw. I think there is some small potential, I think, for a Celestial player to go Chamber first, if they want to hold down the Argent button and put on some really early aggro. But outside of that, the Celestial early game is pretty cut and dry. So yeah, we just get to watch our Infernal player take out a health camp. I've realized that taking out a health camp is not as simple as it seems. Like for me, being able to have like a perfectly timed split on a brute so that the fiends can actually take one more hit while they have white health is like a task in its own. Taking out the speed camps is never simple for me because like sometimes the Shadow Mastiffs like to go after like different targets, so I'm trying to micro away from different telegraphed attacks at the same time. This is not Warcraft 3 camps. I'll put it like that. This is not the same like, okay, just aggro them and then, you know, A-move the scariest one first. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Snoxtar doesn't get the reward for it, but does manage to spawn a fiend and soak up a couple more Sovereign's Watch hits, which means that the slime is going to do just a little more damage to the Argent there, but it's kind of minimal. Still pretty funny to see though. All right, Brute and a couple of fiendy boys. Okay, so for a long time, it's been accepted theory by the community that every fiend, if two fiends come from a brute, and the brute splits down the middle, then each fiend, their legs are, you know, one of them has to be a kneecap and one of them has to be an elbow, right? If the brute splits down the middle, that means one elbow and one knee per fiend. But when you get the upgrades for the brutes, where are those extra joints coming from? Because at max upgrades, the brutes produce 4 fiends, and there's not enough elbows and knees to account for all that. So I don't know. I'm starting to think that this game might not be as realistic as I thought. But anyway, back over to Aureil's side of the map, we're going to see him throwing down a Legion Hall, and he's got some good SimCity happening here with the Creation Chambers. So a power bank there. Or was this, no, it was a link node, excuse me. I always get those two mixed up, especially now that they're the same size. I guarantee you I'm going to get them mixed up more and more now. Okay, we've got some people in the chat saying that brutes are just superficial flesh bags for the fiends hiding inside. Yeah, that is an interesting idea that the fiends are just they're doing like they're piloting the brute from the inside. They're just flesh mechs for the fiends. Flesh mechs is something that I never want to say out loud again. But there you go. That is basically what's happening. Speaking of, we are going to see a. Speaking of having Everista in the chat, by the way, there's the Stompy Boy, Magadon, coming on forward to clear out the middle ground to make sure that Snoxtar can attack a lot quicker through that middle. That, I think it got scouted. Yeah, Aureil definitely knows that these rocks have been broken down now, so I mean, what do? You... Oh, this would be interesting as well. I don't think I've ever seen a siege camp being taken by a... Oh, man. I don't think I've ever seen a siege camp being taken by... an army that had... Oh, wait, is it going to be V5 rocket launcher? Is it rocket launcher versus rocket launcher? It is. The battle of the pencil sharpeners. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, the humanity. All right, looks like the red pencil sharpener wins, though. Where's he going? Where are you going, friend? All right, Snoxtar throwing down an effigy. Ooh, that blast node got a juicy connection on a bunch of gaunts, though. I like that. Oh, it's charged up too, so it's gonna have. I believe it's better rate of fire. Yeah. Oh, and now it's a detector as well. So not only is it doing AOE damage and increased attack speed, but we've got a double Sovereign's Watch going down here, along with the the V5 rocket launcher is doing, or it was doing, good damage to these power banks back here. I think it would have actually gotten better connections, or would have been doing better damage, I should say, had it been attacking those power banks and gotten rid of them. But it still manages to get some pretty good connections on the Argents as well. But the Archangels come out fast enough; they're able to wipe out the ground army of Snoxtar and slow the game back down again. All these Argents getting the free heals from the health camp must feel nice. And a Hell Forge. Ooh, that's a pretty far forward Hell Forge. Maybe I'm just too much of a Metal League noob to understand it, but I'm always scared of putting my tech buildings very far forward. Scan coming down. Oh, the Archangels! Are they gonna smash? Okay, yeah, they are gonna try and do meteor strikes, but good splits from Snoxtar. But now that Aureil's Archangels are on the ground, they're gonna be able to start doing AoE damage to. Oh, here comes the stomps, and yeah, the Magredon actually does fantastic damage because these Archangels are heavily armored. They do 50 damage per attack to Archangels. Not as good as Weavers, though. Yeah, Weavers doing percent max health to these Archangels is going to be absolutely brutal. But the one thing the Weavers can't do is reach up. So that's unfortunate. I don't see an answer to the Archangels anytime soon. Yeah. And there's the GG from Snoxtar. Man, what a turnaround. I thought for sure after Snoxtar knocked down those central rocks and started pouring Infernal units through the center and had his V5 rocket launcher out, I thought for sure that he was going to win. I guess not. GG's, guys. On to the next game. Snoxtar is up 3-2? No, Aureil's up. Aureil's up 3-2. Excuse me. Wow. And I can't unclick the button. Awesome. Alright, guys, here we are in game number 6 between Aureil and Snoxtar. And we're going to be on Broken Crown, one of the oldest maps in the pool. And it looks like, looks like Snoxtar's already teleported his Hexen home. I jumped forward past a lot of that stuff because I don't think people find, oh my god, he's building another prism! Like, doesn't exactly make for the most compelling gameplay to cast, or to watch for that matter. But I do have a new appreciation, and I was talking about this a little bit on during the Jagged Mall map, but I do have a new appreciation for like how not simple going after a creep camp is. Like, that brute was killed. It wasn't split. So that means that the fiends like don't pop out with that white health, and I believe there's another. They come out with like. I think it's bonus attack speed. Let me, well, try another brute, I would check. Oh, dodging the telegraph attacks like Neo dodging bullets. Oh, and the Seraphim. Okay, here we go. Man, the Seraphim's such a cool looking unit. Look at that. You know, I wonder if they almost named it. Whoa. She only has 4 fingers? I think she only has 4 fingers. Is this The Simpsons? Oh, Skull is gonna get it! Nah, it won't matter. It won't matter. But still, the skull is super nice for giving vision, like just knowing where your opponent is, like in StarCraft 2 with the Oracle tag, being able to have like your enemies provide vision for you is super nice. Just keeping an eye on where all your opponent's DPS is at is pretty cool. And Snoxtar, I think, is having flashbacks back to game 2, I believe, when Aureil went, or whatever the Isle of Dread match was. I think it was match number 2, where it was a bunch of Seraphim that suddenly showed up in his main, cleared out his worker line, and it was like, well, that's it. I'm surprised we don't see a Shroud Stone going down yet, because that is pretty deadly. I don't know what you do. Yeah, there's quite a few gaunts out, and they can be quite problematic. But I mean, the benefit of the Seraphim is like, okay, fine, you build enough gaunts, and you can just like hop up and down the ledge faster than the gaunts can travel between the two faces. Are they fully upgraded yet? No, we don't see Reaper's Rush just yet, but we do see a couple of Fiends coming on forward, and they are going to capture this health camp. Yeah, passive health regen is pretty good, especially if you're an Infernal. From the macro level, the more units you have, the more separate units can benefit from that passive health buff at once. As opposed to if you only have a few really high value, really high health units, like Archangels, for instance, then, you know, it's not as many... Your army blob, like all of the supply of your army isn't benefiting from that health camp in the same way. Not that it matters if the Fiends get completely cut down like that. This is a lot of... holy smokes! These Seraphim are just ripping through these... the camps there, the creeps. I did not realize that they would absolutely chew through a bruiser that fast. Pretty scary stuff. So now, is Snoxtar just contained on 2 bases, is the next question. I don't think he doesn't have enough Animus to throw down a Superstone in case the Seraphim show up, and show up they will. Here they come, getting right into the Therium line. Now, I think the Seraphim they are at a little bit of a risk of overkilling just because their projectiles aren't instantaneous, so they aren't fast enough that they, not that time. That time every shot connected. But there are times where, like, when Aureil was focusing down the imps, that we're going to see, it's a Shadow Cleft. We still don't have any Shroud Stones going down. I wonder if it's just a use of Luminite that would better be used somewhere else, but I don't think it matters. Snoxtar's already so low on Luminite, and Aureil's so far ahead. Granted, I say that, but there's not a whole lot of Therium being mined here from Aureil. How many... There's only 2 workers on that patch, 4 workers on that patch. But yeah, these Seraphim are just being absolutely oppressive. Oh, wow, yeah. I think that's the first time I've seen the new infestation actually kill a unit. And for those that don't know, the way infestation worked before patch 0.3 was that it did percent max health damage, but now it just does a flat number of damage per second. So it's not as good against like really high HP units, but it is better against lower HP units. I think the cutoff is 200 health. If a unit has less than 200 health, then infestation is better this patch, but if it has more than 200 health, it's worse this patch. So, I don't know, balance that out as you will, but here come a couple of big bad Archangels ready to turn, oh man! Oh, and these Seraphim can't contest these Spriggans. There's really nothing they can do against the Spriggans. They don't shoot up. They attack ground only, and, so many gaunts just vanishing in a pile of gore there. Look at this little tombstone forest here. Looks like some props out of Elden Ring. Just tombstones all over the place and green goo. Oh no, and these Spriggans trying to get the last hit on that Archangel, but they're gonna have to fly through a couple more Archangels with their big old bonk sticks. Yeah, and 3 Spriggans versus 2 Archangels is not what you want to be fighting there. Alright, one last Spriggan. Oh, huge connection with that meteor smash. Another one goes down. Not the Fell Hog! But yeah, I think Snoxtar is basically out of armor units, and he's down to 33 supply, almost at the 8-minute mark. I don't want to say that the game's over until it's over, but this game is over. Oh no, is an Archangel actually going to fall? Down it goes. Archangel turns into a single fiend. Alright, this Archangel using his non-AoE bomb stick to do damage to the Spriggan Sonic ground units there. Pop, Meteor Smash. GG, congrats from Snoxtar. Aureil goes up 4-2 and wins his own tournament. GG's, guys. Thank you so much for the tournament, Aureil. I'll see you guys later.